Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to festive game week 19. Today we are going to look at the best midfielders over the Christmas period and into January. Lots to consider in January, so we need to get our early thoughts together for that, as popular players like Mohamed Salah and Son are going to be representing their countries in cup competitions. There is those immediate Christmas and New Year fixtures to consider as well, so it's a lot for managers to deliberate. Just a reminder, do press that like button and do remember to subscribe as well. My name is Joe and let's have a look at the best festive midfielders in a sec. What we're going to be doing is having a look at the fixtures first, and then we'll have a rundown of those midfielders. And so we've used the Fantasy Football Scout members area to construct a table there with all their sort of relevant stats. And a reminder really that there's an offer at Fantasy Football Scout. Have a look at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and there's a 7-day free trial, and you can save 20%, so it's worth doing that. So you construct your own tables, have a look at the Rate My Team tool, season ticker, sort by difficulty, all of those types of fun stuff, and lots of fixtures coming up at the moment as well, so good time to join because you get lots and lots of latest stats to help you hopefully climb up the tables and win your mini leagues. Let's have a look at the fixtures first to get an idea of the sort of teams that we want to target for our midfielders. So what I've done is I've gone for game week 19, 20 and gone right into 23. So 19 and 20, that's your immediate festive fixtures. So we're looking at the merriest midfielders for the festive fixtures. And then that goes into game week 21. There's a bit of a break in early January. There's the FA Cup. And so you're looking at mid-January, it starts up again. So you need to consider these fixtures. This is when Son and Salah aren't going to be around. This is when Haaland could be back. So it could be a popular captaincy choice as a forward, but we still need some good captaincy choices in midfield. And also just some good midfielders in general. Top over this period it's Brighton. They've got Tottenham up next at home. Then West Ham, Wolves, Luton and Crystal Palace. So that Mitoma's obviously... Well, actually Mitoma could be injured at the moment. He was left the Crystal Palace game on crutches. So... but either way, even if he was fit, he'd be off to the Asia Cup. But Pascal Gross could be in the reckoning. Certainly someone I'm considering. Manchester United are next. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, Wolves and West Ham. I was having a chat with the world number 9, Dylan, this week ahead of game week 19. He is quite keen in January on Bruno Fernandes. He's got a simple philosophy of get good players from good teams. It's debatable whether Manchester United are at their best at the moment, but it's undeniable Bruno Fernandes has got great stats. We'll have a look and see some of his stats if he's in consideration. Next up is Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Luton, Fulham, Liverpool and Wolves they've got next. You've got the likes of Palmer and Kunku could be in consideration. Sterling as well. It's been ticking along quite nicely this season. Fourth best over this run is Arsenal. We've got West Ham and Fulham over the festive period. And then in January, they've got Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, and then Liverpool. So up until that Liverpool game, good set of fixtures. Fulham as well. They're chock-a-block full of people assisting goals mainly. They've got the likes of Willian as well, Pereira. So if you're a bit short of money, Fulham got good fixtures. They've got Bournemouth, they've got Arsenal at home, but they've got Chelsea, Everton and Burnley. So nice, okay fixtures really. Man City, they obviously blank in game week 18, game week 19, they're back again. Will Haaland be back? Well, if you're watching this over the weekends, we might have some more news on that, but as it stands at the moment, we don't know. There was a picture of Haaland in training, and then it was swiftly removed, so we don't know. Meanwhile, you've got the likes of Foden, Grealish. Could De Bruyne be back? He's been spotted in training as well. Anyway, they've got Everton, Sheffield United over Christmas. Great set of fixtures. And then they've got Newcastle, Burnley and Brentford. A bit further down, like not the best fixtures, but certainly midfielders to consider over Christmas and into January. You've got like the likes of West Ham, for example, fourth worst set of fixtures over the coming game weeks. But they've got Arsenal away, then they've got Brighton at home could be good. Then they've got Sheffield United, Bournemouth and Manchester United mixed. mixed fixtures. Arsenal fixtures really dragging them down a bit, and Manchester United is not considered a good fixture, but I think it's quite a good fixture for them. I think Bowen can score against anyone. Newcastle. So if you're Gordon, eyeing at Almiron perhaps, they've got Nottingham Forest next in game week 19. Then they've got Liverpool, Man City, Aston Villa, and then Luton in game week 23. So it's a mixed bag, really. That Liverpool away game could be tough as well. So that's the fixtures, really. I mean, just the other couple of teams to note. Aston Villa, they've got the likes of Bailey, Diaby as well, could come into consideration. They've got Manchester United in game week 19, but then nice couple of fixtures, Burnley, and then Everton, then Newcastle, and then Sheffield United as well. So good set of fixtures. As I'm recording this now, this is actually ahead of the Villa game on Friday night. So apologies if any of the players I'm mentioning are actually injured at the moment. So obviously sketch over them. But what we're doing is giving you some options there. Tottenham also worth considering. Son will be off in January, but he's a good asset at the moment. Got Brighton and Bournemouth. That could be good festive period for. Will Son be a merry midfielder? Then they've got Manchester United, Brentford, and Everton over into January. So you'll be Sonless, but could Richarlison, Brennan Johnson perhaps be in the reckoning? So nice set of fixtures there. Let's have a look at some of the best midfielders to consider. So this is, I'm bearing in mind we've got those immediate fixtures in Christmas, but also looking into January, because obviously when you get a midfield, it's not necessarily for 1 or 2 weeks, it's for a longer period. So I've sorted this by minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. So most of them are regular starters. They've started 15, 16, some of them 9 or 10 games, maybe injuries caught them out for a little bit. But there are a couple of players, well, one in particular who's the top of this list, who's only actually had one start, then was off injured, and that's Kevin De Bruyne. He's the top ranked in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. Hugely small sample, because he's only had one start. No assists, no goals, but he was certainly putting up the underlying stats there. If he's been spotted in training, and if he's back, wow. I mean, he could be a really great asset, especially into January, if you're looking at replacing Son or Salah, perhaps looking to retain a sort of that price point, or near enough that price point with Salah. De Bruyne, 10.2 million. And he marginally underperformed as well. So he should have got something in that first game week. He's only created one chance though. Really small sample, but he's got that pedigree to go with. So I think, the strength of Man City's fixtures with Everton and Sheffield United next, I don't think he'll be back by then, and we might have some more detail. But if he's spotted in training, he's going to come back at some point, and so we do perhaps need to consider him. Next up, Bailey for Aston Villa, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, 125 minutes he expected to be involved. De Bruyne was 116 minutes, by the way. Bailey's already scored 5 goals. That's 62 points across just five starts. So he started a lot recently, 5 assists. So we've got 10 attacking returns from him, only 5.6 million. He's sort of really delivering as we thought he would a couple of seasons ago. He's been overperforming quite spectacularly by his expected goal involvement delta is getting on for nearly 5, but he's created 15 chances. It reminds me, I don't really know enough about his underlying stats over a period to know whether perhaps that's actually part of the course, really, because sometimes very accurate players do in fact overperform regularly. I know Son is often like that, but time will tell. But yeah, a good option there. Maddison, I put him in, injured at the moment. But I heard as it stands, I think he was due to return to training, first team training. That's not to say I suspect he's a way off actually appearing in the first team, but you never know. But that proves that he could be coming into our reckoning at some point, not over Christmas. So probably looking at January there. But just a reminder, he's had 63 points across his 11 starts, 6 assists and 3 goals, 7.8 million. He was in my team for ages until he got injured. And he's been great on set pieces as well. Saka is next on the list. 16 starts, minutes per expected goal involvement every 147 minutes, so just behind Maddison there at 143 minutes. Maddison overperformed by nearly 2 goal involvements. Saka's pretty much doing as he's supposed to do, really. He's put his expected delta is minus 0.04, which basically means he's expected to have scored exactly what he has. So he's got 8 assists and 5 goals. This is good returns, actually. 42 chances created, which is absolutely huge. I think people are sort of slightly down on him because some of his returns are like 5 points, 7 points here, and it doesn't seem that spectacular. But I like these sort of steady Eddie players. Next up is Richarlison. I've highlighted him because if you're looking for just a straight replacement for Son, to stick with that sort of Spurs attack, I think he's a great asset. 6.7 million. Arguably, a lot of people have already got him in or are looking to get him in. With 4 goals so far, 3 assists. He's had surgery recently. He's come back. All the reports seem to be that he's doing well in training. He's playing up front. This is in preparation probably for Son going off to the Asia Cup. So he's back on the left. Richarlison up front. So he's the main striker. He'll probably be on penalties. We haven't got definite, but he'll probably be on penalties. I know from his days at Everton, he was very keen to get that ball for taking penalties there. So you'd expect that. 56 points. Across his 9 starts, so it's 56 FPL points. I think he's a really good option. These definitely ones I'm considering. All the ones I've highlighted here is a bit biased. These are ones I'm considering, but you might consider others. So this is why we're listing so many here. Grealish, Man City's fixtures, we mentioned with De Bruyne as well. So is Everton, Sheffield United over Christmas. Grealish is going unnoticed, really, by a lot of managers. Very low owned in comparison to some of the other midfield options. But he's had 3 goals and an assist. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty this season. This is every 157 minutes. Across his just 5 starts. So he's been subbed on a lot. Obviously, he's played a lot. There are lots of cup competitions as well. But perhaps not starting every game. So that could be the caveat with him there. But nevertheless, 37 points. Palmer at Chelsea. He's a mainstay in a lot of teams. Very template pick. 5.6 million. He was 4.9 million, I think. Some people got him in a good few weeks ago. Had 73 FPL points, 14-point haul, game week 18. Of course, there's 10 starts, 4 assists, marginally been underperforming. Created 22 chances. He's got a bit of everything. He looks great. And I suspect he's going to be a mainstay for them. Chelsea, just a reminder, those fixtures, Crystal Palace and Luton over the festive period, and then into January they got Crystal Palace. They got Fulham, Liverpool, and Wolves. So apart from that, Liverpool game still pretty good into January. Next up, Bowen. Bowen, definitely a name I'm considering. He's been in my team. I removed him. I think he was injured, and I looked elsewhere. But I kind of wish I kept him. Because he's just ticking along. I think they lost. West Ham lost in the cup to Liverpool, but he scored. And that's what he does. Even if West Ham are the inferior team to the whoever their opponent are, he should get a return. He's particularly good away this season as well. And just looking at the fixtures there, away they got Arsenal away, Sheffield United away, Manchester United away over the next 5 fixtures, and at home they've got Brighton and Bournemouth. These are good fixtures, I think. Bowen, definitely. If I could get him over Christmas, I would. I think he's going to play. He avoids the need for rotation. I think he's a great pick if you can afford him. But certainly in January, when I'm looking to spend a bit of my Salah and Son money, I'll definitely be looking to get Bowen in, I think. 10 goals, 94 FPL points. This is getting into FPL royalty territory there. 94 points, 16 starts. So Poussin nailed on he is, and he has an assist. Been marginally overperforming, according to this, about 11 chances created. Next name is Bruno Fernandes. As I said, I talked to the world number 9, Dylan, the other day, and he was saying that Bruno Fernandes into January is someone he's considering. Good fixtures for Manchester United, though, over Christmas and into January. And Bruno Fernandes, 47 chances created, 16 starts. It was only really the suspension that's cost him 64 points. So not as good as, say, the likes of Bowen and Saka, but minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 177 minutes. 3 assists he's had, 3 goals. He still looks good. It's just the rest of the team not so good sometimes. I always think of Manchester United at the moment just a bit more of a defensive team rather than an attacking team. But he's only 8.2 million now. It's good value. Manchester United's fixture got Aston Villa in game week 19, and then Nottingham Forest game week 20, and then into January you got Tottenham, Wolves, and West Ham. The Tottenham and West Ham games are at home. I think they're good fixtures. Not bad. Pedro Neto's next here, 52 FPL points. He has scored, but he's had 8 assists. That's huge. That's the same as Saka on 10 starts. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 177.9 minutes. Marginally overperforming in terms of his expected goal involvement, and he's created 25 chances. So before he got injured, whenever Wolves score, you look at the look at the details. Who got the assist? Well, the answer is Neto. Neto was getting assists almost every week. I was almost going to get him in, but then obviously got injured. So perhaps we'll look to him again. Wolves fixtures a bit mixed, but they've got Brentford and Everton next. Neto could be back over Christmas. Brentford and Everton, and then they've got Brighton, Manchester United and Chelsea. Not bad from an attacking point of view. I don't think they'll maybe win all of those. I don't think they'll win any of them. Maybe a couple, but certainly potential for returns there. Eze's next at Crystal Palace. Elise's been good at Crystal Palace as well. Well done those who got him in. He's got a couple of returns last 2 game weeks. But Eze's back, made an appearance against Brighton. A couple of goals. A couple of assists, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, 180 minutes. So a goal involvement every 2 games. Across 9 starts, FPL points 38, created 22 chances. Reasonable pick here. Gross, I've highlighted. I'm very tempted to get Gross in. Yes, I am a Brighton fan, so that is the bias there. But in terms of finding a player that's actually going to play, I mean, Adingra is the Barnick man, keeps playing, but very good value for what he is. He's getting the odd goal. Was substituted after 45 minutes, but Gross played the entire match against Palace in gaming 18. He is the mainstay. Starts 15. It's only really injury or suspension would stop him because he's so versatile. Last night, game week 18, he played Palace. It was against Palace. Started the game in an attacking midfield role. Eventually went back to a defensive midfield role, and then he emerged as a fullback. And that's what he's been doing. Whenever he retires, whenever he leaves the Premier League, he really should be seen as quite a legendary FPL figure. Not just in terms of me being the Brighton bias there, but he's been consistent ever since he's been in the Premier League. He was the top assister in the Bundesliga when he came over to Brighton, and he's been so remarkably consistent. Can play anywhere, got goals, got an assist in him. Anyway, 15 starts, 77 FPL points. That's great for 6.4. Scored 3 goals, 6 assists, marginally overperforming. Created 47 chances, same as Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I've got him in my Sky team, and I hope to get him into my FPL team as well. And I want to get him in soon. Good Brighton top fixtures: Tottenham, West Ham, Wolves, Luton, and Crystal Palace. If I can't do that over Christmas, I think I'll go for January for him. I just think he's a great player. Bias there, but I think he's a great player. And Diaz at Liverpool, I'm monitoring him. So when Salah goes, that's more likely. I mean, Diaz starts on the other side, on the left. But at the moment, you've got Gakpo, Darwin Núñez, Salah, and Diaz all competing for 3 places. When Jota comes back, he's in the mix as well. But with Salah gone, you've got to think who is going to replace Salah. I'm not saying it's going to be Diaz, but Diaz will, he's got one less name to compete against one of those attacking spots there, and it remains to be seen how influential he'll be, how many minutes he'll get, so just sort of a watching brief at the moment. So a player to monitor perhaps into January. Diaz, 49 FPL points across his 12 starts, minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 203 minutes. Has got an assist, obviously those 3 goals as well, and created 18 chances. These are some of the names I picked. Obviously, there are loads of other midfielders. You might not agree with me with some of these picks here, especially my massive Brighton bias there with Pascal Gross. But I do think there is a lot of options here. And as we get into January, we're going to have some spaces to fill. But you might have some spaces to fill over Christmas as well. And also wildcarders as well. You've got to use your wildcard by game 20. So there's certainly, you'll be certainly looking into January there, so you might not necessarily get a good player for say game week 19 and 20, but they might have better fixtures. But it so happens the likes of Brighton and Chelsea, they've got good fixtures all across the festive period and January. Well, hope we've given you something to consider there for your choices. Good luck in game week 19. Reminder, do press that like button and do remember to subscribe as well. Keep up to date with our videos and podcasts. And do remember that members offer as well. Have a look at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk for that as well. Good luck. I've got plenty of content over the festive period and into January. Do keep your eye out on the Fantasy Football Scout YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts for those. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care. See you soon.